well known around the world. And it is also interesting that that particular ship has been built in Nikolaev in Ukraine, in the largest shipbuilding plant in the former Soviet Union. It is interesting, it has been hit by missiles from same area, from Nikolaev. It's a lot of symbolism in this case, and certainly it has a name Moskva, the capital of Russia. So this is a very, very painful blow to the morale and the status of the Russian Navy and the Russian Army.
Really fascinating, Andrei. Thank you so much for being with us. Andrei Illarionov, we appreciate it.
Vladimir Putin's first visit to the West after he was elected president There he was welcomed to 10 Downing Street by the then Prime Minister Tony Blair. Blair met with Putin many, many more times. We are back here in London with Tony Blair.
The aging process is a little bit visible from those old pictures, but anyway.
Not of Putin, by the way, more of you.
Exactly.
What did you tell us? Everyone is wondering about this question. He seemed rational, incremental, calculating, logical. He now seems emotional. Angry. What is your sense of the trajectory?
So the first Putin I met was Western-facing, anxious to have a good relationship with the West. He used to insist that we met in St. Petersburg because it's the Western-facing great city of Russia. Then I think he found the challenges of reform and change in Russia too great, and he decided to consolidate power in a more autocratic way and then become a Russian nationalist. And so the second incarnation of Putin, if you like, was cold and calculating and brutal, but still, I would say, entirely rational within his own terms. The anxiety I think everyone has is that he's now completely detached from reality, surrounded by people who won't tell him the truth. And this is why this incredible miscalculation, leave aside the wickedness of it, the miscalculation strategically and in every possible way has been enormous. How he could ever have thought, anyone who knows Ukraine, and we both know Ukraine, anyone who knows it, knows that there was never any question of Ukrainians agreeing to be subjugated to Russia in this way. So I think that's the worry. The trajectory has been away from a reforming, Western-oriented leader who could have allowed Russia to become part of the West.
The capital of Russia. So this is a very
times when I was there, then people were even talking about, could Russia become a member of the European Union? Was there a way Russia could be accommodated literally within the structures of NATO? And it's very important people remember this, because this myth that Putin perpetrates, that we were somehow always trying to push him and humiliate Russia. Russia's problem is not the result of our humiliation of Russia. It's as a result of bad government in Russia.
Joe Biden says that his worry is that Putin is cornered and he doesn't have a way out. So what should the West and Ukraine do? Should there be an active search for an off-ramp? Or are you of the view, let's first make sure that Ukraine kind of prevails in this and not worry so much about giving Putin a face-saving way out?
Okay, so I think we've got to be guided by the Ukrainians and their leadership, because their leadership has been
Joe Biden says that his
worry
is that Putin is cornered and he doesn't have a way out.
Impressive not merely by
the West and
they've showed real intelligence about how they would.
Should there be an
and I think in the first weeks of this conflict before it became extraordinarily brutal, I think they would have taken a way out and offered that off-ramp. But I think their attitude now, because of the way that Putin is trying to take that whole southern corridor and block Odessa, really, from Ukraine, I think now the Ukrainians will believe they've done well militarily, much better than anyone expected. They're going to get more support from the West. I think they will have to choose the moment, if there is one, at which they look at the possibility of a negotiated settlement. But it's a lot harder to do now, because there is no way any Ukrainian leader is going to agree that Putin should get anything out of this invasion at all. Now, I do think there are larger issues. We were talking about them before around what is the type of security infrastructure, architecture rather, we need for the future relationship with Russia. But I don't favor pushing the Ukrainians into a premature negotiation, just as I wouldn't hold them back if they consider there is an optimum moment, maybe after the summer months.
And then you get to the game of what does the West ask for in return for the relaxation of sanctions, which is presumably one of the key Russian demands is going to be. And it just strikes me that this is going to go on for a long time. That I don't. Again, one of Putin's miscalculations is I don't think this somehow magically all disappears. These sanctions have been put in place. The energy depend. The West is going to take its time rolling this back. So, would you agree we're looking at a new world, and that this is not going to get resolved in years?
Yeah, I mean 100%. And the thing is, you've got the sanctions, the actual legally enforceable sanctions, but then you've got a couple of other things. You've got first of all the fact that there's no one going to do business with Putin. And I think, is it 1,000 companies have withdrawn from Russia? I don't think they're going to go back in whilst Putin remains in power. So that isolation, which is as much voluntary as it is mandated, will remain. And the second thing is that Europe, I mean, it's learned its lesson now. It will change its energy policy fundamentally to release itself from dependence on Russian oil and gas now. It may take some time in the case of gas and so on and so forth, but that's going to happen. It's absolutely inevitable because no one will want to be in a position, again, where there's any question of having a conflict between what you need to do and your dependence on Russian energy.
All right, before I let you go, I have to ask you, you were so instrumental in bringing stability to Ireland, to Northern Ireland. What does it mean that you now have a party in power there that in some ways is part of the old hope of a united Ireland? Is there now a possibility that Ireland and Northern Ireland will be united?
Well, it's back on the agenda, let's say, in a way that it wasn't before. But the key immediate thing, because that's a whole longer-term play. The key immediate thing is to get this dispute between the UK and the European Union resolved. It's very, very damaging. It really arises out of the fact that the UK entered into an agreement back in October 2019 that it doesn't really want to keep to. And unsurprisingly, the Europeans are saying you do have to keep to it. I think there is a way through. There is a way through the technical and practical problems of how you organize trade between Britain, the island of Britain, and Northern Ireland. But it's going to require the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson,
prevails
to
on
work
this,
out
not
he
worry so
thinks
much
is
about it, and he doesn't have a way out.
final negotiating position, and then he's going to have to go and very, very sell it and persuade the Europeans the fact that the UK isn't going to get solved by the system, not by the Commission system, but by the UK system. The only way surprising the Europeans are saying you do have to keep dealing with Europe is to elevate it to the leaders' level and get Britain and Northern Ireland.
One more example
But it's going to require
the
Prime
damage
Minister
prevails on not worry so much about it. He doesn't have a way out.
this final negotiating position, and then he's going to have to go very, very selling. It really this isn't going to get solved by the system, not by the Commission system, by the UK system. The hard only way to external is Europe between the North elevated to the leaders' level. And so Britain is always going to be
One more example
that's going to require, it's happened Brexit,
the damage prevails.
you need to resolve this final negotiation. And then he's going to have to go very, very selling. It really
and of what is happening with Iran, more importantly. We are now joined by a favourite here on Outsiders. He's here in Sydney, he's here in the Outsiders studio, Colonel Richard Kemp. Great to see you. How are you, Richard?
Great to see you and a real pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome to Sydney. We often see you on Skype, and during COVID we saw you and all locked away wherever. But you're here in Sydney. Welcome to Sydney. I hope we're treating you. It's been bucketing down because, as you know, the climate change